Good afternoon again, fellow Plexers. This video is for my Facebook friend Howie, who is losing media once he renames it with Filebot. And I've been corresponding with him, and he's checking to see if he can find his missing media under Windows. And unfortunately, I can't help him fully because I'm not running Windows. And if he really can't find it, I'll throw a Windows Plex install in one of my bench systems to run this whole experiment again. But he's trying to rename different strokes, and I've copied what he's got going. So he's got a folder similar to this, and I've just dummied up 9 different files to be similarly named to how he has it named. You'll notice there's no official separator between the show name and the season episode coding, and he's got one file with 2 episodes in it. So my custom expressions will rename this in place. If you use Filebot's default expression, it's going to create a new folder, and under Linux it does it right in my home directory. So I'll do it 2 different ways. I'll rename it with my custom expression, and then I'll rename it again with Filebot's default expression to create that structure. So I'm just going to right click on it, and it doesn't matter where it starts at for my expression. It could be local, it could be on my NAS, but Filebot's default expression means it needs to be on the local drive, because it won't work on the NAS unless there's already a shared folder created named media with a capital M. All right, so let's open up Filebot. It opened off screen, and I'm going to use my default expression. And you see it's creating right in place. In that same folder, it's renaming the show folder to this. It's creating a season 1 folder, and it's creating everything, including the media description. So I'll just click rename, and you now see this proper show folder. You see the season 1 folder, and you see the episode folders. Let me pause you, because that's Howie messaging me now, and I'm going to tell him to be quiet while I'm finishing. Okay, so everything's set up. So we could just copy this, right click, cut and copy it, or cut and paste it into position wherever it needs to be. Let me show you Filebot's default expression. So because I have custom expressions loaded, I have to hold the shift key down before clicking this icon. And now I can see organize movies and episodes for Plex. So we'll pick the episodes for Plex. And now you see how Filebot wants to create this media folder called media. And now it's creating a TV show library folder called TV shows. And then it's creating different strokes using the TMDB ID number, which I didn't do with my expression. My expression named from TVDB. This expression named from TMDB. And it creates the season 01 folder, and it gives just the simple episode file names in comparison to how my expression tells you a little bit about the media characteristics. All right, so we've renamed them, and they're no longer in the directory structure. But now I have a media folder that wasn't there before, and if I go into it, here's the new library folder, and here's the different stroke show folder, the season 01 folder, and here's the media. And like always,
good evening, fellow Plexers.
It's not a
this
real
is just a
episode. So I was interested in this because Filebot had a little bug. It wasn't handling the 2 episodes in 1 file name renaming properly. It was using a S01X something dash, or no, what was it doing? It was doing SX 01, it was doing something goofy. I've showed it in other videos, but now apparently that's fixed, which is great. So Howie, you have to look to see what's going on and try to find it, or you have to use my own custom expressions. So if you go back to my last main big Filebot video on YouTube for TV shows, it will show all the custom expressions. But I'll give you a quick tutorial on how to use my custom expression. So let me open up Filebot again. I'm going to click down here and edit a preset and click into this. And I'm going to copy all of this into a word processor so you can see it. Almost all my Filebot videos show all my custom expressions in the description. All right, let's change the color on all of these. And let's choose no fill. And let's increase the font size even more. And let's actually pick a font for everything. Okay, so this is all one big line. This section creates the show name, and this trailing brackets removes a double year for any entry at TVDB that already has the year and the proper show name, which isn't often. So this prevents a double year being added. So that's the rest of it. That's the year. This part creates the season folder. This part, again, removes the double year from the episode name while adding the year. And now we see our official space dash space as a separator. This creates the season episode structure. This T in curly braces pulls in the proper episode name from TVDB. And now I've got this information in brackets because a Plex TV show library scanner, the latest one, ignores anything in a bracket. So this information adds the video format, video codec, audio format, audio codec. And then this part, the developer of Filebot helped me with, and all of this extra stuff only works because I have Mediainfo installed alongside Filebot. This long formula is from the developer of Filebot, and he custom wrote it for me, and it looks inside the media container folder for either English subtitles or undescribed subtitles. Because if I'm renaming a whole show and they all have undescribed subtitles, I want this added to the file name. It means I have to go through everything manually to assign the English language to each episode with MKV Toolnix, or look for another source of the show. If it comes back with this in the file name, and again, because it's in brackets, the Plex series scanner ignores this information. If this is in the file name when I'm done, I know I have at least one embedded English subtitle. If there's more embedded subtitles in the English language, I don't know that, but at least I have one. Now this last little bit handles external SRT subtitles in the renaming process, which needs to be prepped a little bit. So I'll paste this in the description of this, but my other Filebot videos have all my custom expressions. So what you do is you click here, you click edit preset, you click new preset, and you give it a name. Let's call it TVDB. Let's do this. Let's call it test TVDB full structure in place. That means it's not going to move it someplace else, which you could have Filebot do by specifying the location. So now I'm going to paste in that expression again. Now we have to make sure the data source is correct. This is pulling metadata from the movie database for a TV library. I want the TVDB. And you see how it says TV in front of it? If I simply pick the movie database, this is an expression for movie files and not TV. So it's either TVDB or the movie database TV. Now I can also decide to make this expression for DVD order if I want by changing that, and I change the description so I know what's going on. But I want aired ordering. The rest is all default. English, rename, keyboard shortcut none, match mode opportunistic. So then I just save the preset, and now this test one here is an identical expression to the one I use. So let me hit that one up. And now, so where did we leave off? We left off with Filebot moving this show into this structure, and now I'm going to use my own custom expression to rename it, but it's going to stay in this structure because my expression doesn't move anything around. It renames in place. So I'm going to take this off screen, but you see, because I have Mediainfo also installed, it's going to add in that extra description. So I'm going to rename now, and you see how we have that. And it didn't change the location. Still in the TV show library folder, you still have the same folder name. Well, actually, it's not the same folder name because I don't add a source ID. So we'll keep going with this. So now I'll hold down the Shift key and I'll use Filebot's default organize episodes for Plex. And you see how the TMDB number is being added back in. So I'll hit rename and you see that change in real time. So I don't think the ID, the source ID, is necessary for TV shows. The only thing that's important is if you're naming from TMDB or TVDB, you need to adjust the advanced library settings. And let me go to a test server to do that. And again, this isn't real media, it's just those same dummy files. Under the advanced settings, you'd click edit, and advanced, a default series library when you create it is set to the movie database, which is always aired ordering. You can change it to the TVDB, and at this level, it's aired ordering also. So if you're going to set your Filebot expression up, for a TV show, you have to decide if you're pulling metadata from the movie database for TV shows or from TVDB, and then adjust your library. I like the TVDB better because it has virtual TV series in it that the movie database doesn't. So I suggest always setting this for a new library and then either manually renaming or renaming through Filebot by pulling metadata from TVDB. So Howard, this is way more than you asked for, but you're getting it, man. And you try to use search and see if you can find this media folder, because Filebot should not be deleting anything, but if you're using that default expression, it's going to move the media outside of the folder you're naming it with. Now, if your media is on a NAS, like a Synology or a QNAP NAS, which I know it's not, or a Western Digital My Store, I forget what they call it. This is what will happen. Let me go to my NAS. I guess I can't stop talking. My older one. So these are the shared folders I have. And you see there's not a shared folder named media with a capital M. So let me do this. Let me show you what happens. I am going to, I've got too many file browsers open. Where am I? I have to go to home. Media. And I'm going to just copy this to that NAS. They're all small files that won't take long. Okay, so there is no media shared folder. Let me copy this again into here. So I have an extra copy. I'm going to right click this, open it with Filebot, and I rename on my NAS all the time. But this time I'm going to use Filebot's default expression. And again, it's going to try to create a folder called Media TV, and let's see what happens. I get an error because it cannot move to the folder it wants to create because it doesn't have permissions, but it doesn't delete it. So if say I wanted to rename this with another expression, say I wanted to use my custom expression to rename from TMDB with structure, I can do that. It's actually going to look the same because I'm not adding the source ID. If I refresh, well, actually, maybe mine does add the source ID. I can do that, but I can't use Plex's default expression to move it unless I create that shared media folder, which actually I'm going to do now because I've never done it to see if it works. So, Howie, this is getting deeper, but let's just go with the flow. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. That was a short-lived idea. I can't create a shared folder with a capital M for media because I have a shared folder named media with a lowercase m. But you see that earlier in this video, Filebot did not have permission to access that media folder, even though I was in that media folder because it wants to create it with an uppercase M. So, Howie, I don't think you've lost your files. I think they're just someplace on your Windows computer. And you look around for a little bit. If you can't find it, I'll throw in a Windows installation into one of my bench systems, and I'll try Filebot there with a default expression to see where the folder ends up or to see if it gets deleted. But for now, this is it. This is my last video for a little bit today, or for all of today. Thanks for watching.